woman, beautiful, warrior, veteran. She that inspires.
Hello, I'm your host, career strategist and job creator, Sister Soldier, and you're watching She That Inspires, the show where we provide the blueprints for success. Thanks for watching. Joining us today is Victoria Buggs from the Center for Health Educators and Safety Specialists. Hi, Victoria.
Hello,
and so
Wanda.
welcome.
Thank you.
Victoria has a very interesting story that I would love to share with you all today. She is a Army veteran, a retired Army veteran, and she has 2 bachelor's degrees
Yes.
and 1 master degree.
Yeah.
My goodness. And she is a nurse. She's in the nurse profession. And so Victoria is joining us because she has her own business and she started it while she was active duty. So that's the interesting part about what she brings to the table today, because it's really wise to start thinking about what you're going to do before you embark upon exiting the military. Victoria deployed to Afghanistan twice.
Correct.
And for her to be able to come back and retire and start her business and get on a really good start after getting out of the military is just awesome. So
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So Vicki, I would love to call you Vicki. I wanted to bring your story to the audience because you are so unique in what you do. I know that you had gone to school and you were really strategic about what you were doing when you were active duty. And so if you could help me explain today some of the key things that you did and why you made the decision to do to start your business the way that you did before exiting the military, because that's not something that everyone thinks of. And I thought that it was really unique in that your story is something to be told, because there are many others who perhaps want to be in the field that you are in, training and in the health professional field, and they're not sure what they're going to do. So tell me a little bit about when you were active duty. What were your thoughts about to, exit the military, when you were about to get out and you were thinking, how do I go about this?
Well, in October 2014, I decided to put in my retirement papers and retire from the United States Army. During that time, I also had a vision to start my own business in healthcare. So March of 2014, I decided to take a CPR class and to become an instructor. Doing that, I read the training as a training director. They had guidelines, so I read that and I said, "Oh, I can do this. I can establish my own training center under a specific organization, which is the American Safety and Health Institute." So while I was on active duty, I continued to get my CPR instructor certification, which was a 2-day course. So once I did that, I said, okay, how can I utilize this in the tool bag that I already have of my degrees and my certifications? How can I couple this certification with, the things I already have? Well, when I began to look, I'm like, okay, so as a nurse, we always need CPR every 2 years. But under the organization I'm in, they also offered additional courses for nurses. So classes that I was eligible and certified to teach. So I began to take courses in that, get certified in those courses as well, so I can become an instructor. So during that March of 2014, I planned strategically. I went to classes. I talked to people about establishing my own business and things that I need, and I began to put those things in work. So before I came out and launched my own business, I had a pre-launch party at my house, and I showed everyone what my thoughts were, and I got some feedback on that. And once I got my feedback and fine-tuned those things, I came out public in March of 2015.
So you mentioned that you were required in the, I guess, your unit to have certain certifications, which was your CPR.
Yes.
And a lot of people allow those certificates and those certifications that they do acquire while active duty to expire.
Right.
So you didn't do that. You went ahead and you maintained your certification.
Yes.
But what prompt you, and how did you do your research to understand that that was the one thing that would still carry over and that you could continue to move forward with that particular certification? Because in most cases, even though we're working in a certain field while active duty, we're not sure we want to do that. So that's why a lot of people allow them to allow their certificates to expire. So what prompts you to say that this is the particular one? Did you do some research?
Well, I did
and
research.
what research? Because you did say you did some research.
So once again, I have all of my degrees are in healthcare.
Okay.
So
the plethora
of
degrees.
Those degrees are in healthcare. So each one of them, you have to be certified. So even if I wanted to become work on the civilian side, I would have needed CPR. You know. So I said, okay, instead of me giving $85 to another organization to teach me, I can get that same $85 or more and teach another, someone else. So those, as a health educator, as a RN, as a public health specialist or analyst, we still need those certifications because we work with people that can have heart attacks in our organization. So being certified, and I advise everyone to get CPR certified to help. It's a life-saving technique. So because I did the research, I didn't want to have my degrees and my certifications go to waste. As you already know, I'm a 20-year veteran in human resources. I have 20 years experience, but I also have academia of healthcare.
So let's stop right there for one moment. So your career field, your MOS was 42 Alpha,
human resource specialist.
And so in that, you already had the background of human resource management.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so when you finished, I remember that when you were, you decided to go to school.
Yes.
Okay. So where along the lines while you were active duty did you decide that you wanted to go into the healthcare field, because that wasn't your natural area at that point? You were not even familiar with it. You just decided, I wanted to go into the healthcare field.
Yes.
Back it up a little bit and give us the story, give us the meat and the potatoes on how you planned that particular career field out. And then, just tell me how that really played out for you from going from the human resource career direction into the healthcare.
Well, at my 10-year mark in the military, I noticed I wanted to change. My MOS at the time was 71 Lima, administrative specialist, and the promotion points were 798, and I was doing everything in my power to get to 798, and I was still coming up short. And I did not want to be one of those service members or soldiers that spent 10 years, 15 years as in a specific rank of an E5. So I did some research, and they had a program called the Army Enlisted Commission Program. It was a nursing program. The Army would pay for 2 years for you to achieve your bachelor's in nursing and then become an officer.
Does that still exist?
That still exists today.
Okay.
So what I did was I looked at the criteria. I met the criteria and the requirements. I applied to several schools and got accepted. Mind you, I already had my first bachelor's as a health educator. So I met the requirement of achieving my bachelor's within 2 years. So I applied to Howard University, where I was accepted into their Division of Nursing program, and I was able to get out the military for schooling. I was still getting paid my military benefits, but my full-time job was to go to school and to become an Army nurse.
And that was through the Green to Gold program?
That was through the Army Enlisted Commissioning Program.
Okay.
So what that means that any enlisted personnel could join this program or apply for this program regardless of their MOS. They just needed to meet the requirements and be accepted into an organization that would allow them to complete their bachelor's degree in nursing in 24 months.
Okay, and so when you had desired to do that and you embarked upon that portion of your career and setting out to join the commission program, you already knew, okay, that this is something that I can use in my toolbox.
Yes.
And not only is it going to help you to progress in the military, but now you have something that you can carry over into your civilian lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So upon completing my degree, I began to study for my NCLEX, and I was unsuccessful twice of passing my board.
So why did you keep going?
I kept on going because I was determined. And during nursing school, I helped so many people through different hard tasks, and I couldn't understand why. Why am I not getting this board? Why am I not passing?
Somebody needed to hear that.
Yes.
Somebody needed to hear that.
So I failed twice. And on the third time, before the third time, I went to my professor and I told her, I failed twice already. And she said, you have test anxiety. She said, in school you did everything. You were great in school. She told me my work ethic in school was great. My study habits were great. She gave me a tool. She said, know what you know and know it well. She said, you might not know everything.
So wait a minute, that's a tweetable moment. Know what you know
and know it well.
Know it well. Wow.
So once I left her, I went back home. And every question that I answered in preparation for my next NCLEX was 2 weeks. I began to cover up the answers. And on the other side, I would get my pen and paper and I would write what I knew about the question. And I used that same tool while I took my NCLEX, and I passed less than 100 questions.
Wow, wow. So that tells me that you have to have tenacity in order to move forward. You have to not give up, and you have to consistently just keep going forward, because sometimes it seems like it's difficult and we may not fit into this mold that we really have a desire to be in, but that's not always the case. Wow, wow, wow. So that says a lot, and I believe that knowing when to just continue to go forward, especially if you already have a plan and going into that area, and if you've been able to identify what the flaw is. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back. So again, thank you for being with us, and we'll be right back in a moment.
Noises like that used to make me hit the deck. But now, I can keep going.
Don't get me wrong, I still don't love crowded places, but it's good to get out again.
Transitioning from the military can be tough, but many veterans are facing similar challenges. Visit MakeTheConnection.net to watch our stories and learn ways to create the story you want to live. Make the Connection.
Welcome back. I am Sister Soldier, and we're here talking with Victoria Buggs in reference to her transition from human resource management while being in the Army, as well as a health specialist. So let's move forward a little bit. So you were able to complete that program.
Yes.
And during that time frame, you went to Afghanistan for Iraq
twice.
Twice.
Yes.
Okay. And so how did that play in your plans? How did that play? You knew you were going to, your intentions were to retire. How did that play?
So during the time I got notified I was going to Iraq, as I mentioned before, I had failed my NCLEX twice, and you only get 2 times in in that program. So once I passed that NCLEX on the third time, I was able to apply for the direct commission program. But during that board time, which was 12 months, I was notified I was going to Iraq. So I waited, put my packet in, deployed to Iraq with the 125th Military Mail Terminal out of the 82nd Sustainment Brigade out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So I did my 12 months there in Iraq. Upon my return back to the States, the big Army says, "Hello, Victoria. We have orders for you to go to William Beaumont in I think it's Texas, El Paso, Texas. Before you go there, we want you to do 10 weeks at Fort Sam Houston, regardless if you've already been away from your family."
Yeah.
However,
isn't that the way they do it though?
Yes. And however, to make things sweet, we will give you a $40,000 sign-on bonus. So I said, okay. So I talked to my family. My daughter was becoming a senior. She was graduating the upcoming June. Mind you, this was August of 2011. I talked to my husband about it, and he said, "Hey, you know, I've been a single parent for 3 years, you know, throughout my military career."
Yeah.
And just by him saying that, let me know that, you know, he was a little bit concerned about me taking on that responsibility, you know, going to school after being away from the kids almost 18 months, deploying, you know, being away from that family foundation, because we were a stable family. So just after talking to my husband, I decided, you know what? You know, thank you, Army. Thank you for giving my degree. Thank you for giving me my license, but I'm going to stick with my family. So I had to notify them that I was no longer going to accept the position of becoming an Army nurse. I came to Fort Belvoir, Virginia in 2012, and my assignment was 3 years. And at that time, I knew that that was going to be my last assignment.
Wow.
That I would do 2 years.
I find it just, we often hear how the wife is home with the family while the husband is away taking care of the kids, but you had that opposite role.
Yes.
And he not only did it once, but he did it twice. For you to go over to Iraq, and then, you know, sometime, you know, that kudos to your husband, first of all, because not often will a spouse, a male spouse, say, you know, I'm going to hang around for you to be able to do that. And even sometimes wives say 2 times, that's enough, you know, the stress that you're giving me and the different things that I'm embarking while you're away, it can be a lot. Yes. But you were able to push through that, and your husband was able to collaborate and still have things work together. And so that is what made you decide that, you know, I have to build a family.
Yes.
I mean, you know, stay with my family. And your son was quite young, was he not?
My first deployment, my son was 8 months. I didn't see him again until he was 2 years old. The second time, he was just going to kindergarten. I was not there to walk him into his, you know, his first year in academia in kindergarten. So I believe that it was time to go, you know, and I also believe that taking steps prior contributed to my success of exiting the military without any stress. So I began to just focus on my exit strategy, you know, going to different classes.
At that time, you were, what, 18, 19 years in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was 18 years in. Yes. So I already knew that it was, you know, it was that time. It was that time to be a mom. It was that time to be a wife. You know, my husband did not travel with me throughout my whole 20 years. You know, we agreed that stability would be what we wanted for our family. So I stayed at Fort Meade most of my career, you know, over 13, 14 years in one spot out of 20. So
But you had to go, that didn't just come. It came because you went overseas and you were able to come back. Because that became your home base.
Yes, it came from applying for this so I can get back to them. You know, not uprooting my family and having to go to 15 different bases. And also, my husband is a private sector employee. He's not government. So every time he would have had to transition, he would have had to look for a new job if his profession was not available. You know, if he couldn't transfer. So it was the best interest for my family to do what we did and you know, make a move, and that's what I did. So
I would say that you really did. Not only was the military, the Army, good to you as far as allowing you to have these diverse training, different types of training, but you also were able to gain gain something and be able to leverage what you had, what the education and the benefits of being able to go to school and produce for them and at the level that they were needing, because we can't get into those programs unless it is the needs of the military.
Right.
So that's wonderful. So you started your company, and you said you waited, you did it 1 year prior to your exiting out.
Yes.
And you're coming up on 1 year now, aren't you?
1 year made in March 28th of 2016.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what has being a business owner been like?
It's been great, Wanda. I have the ability to network with so many people because of the networking itself is the reason why, besides God, has kept me in business for 1 year. You know, being able to educate people on the safety of knowing CPR, first aid. Some people say, you know, I never thought of it like that, safety. Just talking to a couple of my customers saying, my dad was just diagnosed with enlarged heart and our family needs to learn about CPR. Can you teach a class? You know, 'cause they also know
life-saving, life-changing.
Life-saving, life changes. And they also know the importance of CPR, different other professions, children, child and babysitting safety. These young kids want to go out there and earn some money. How can I earn some money safely? Educate me on how to become a babysitter. What are the things that I need to know? I'm a really good fan of the Girl Scouts, because Girl Scouts need their CPR badge to even to get promoted to the next badge. So different tools, different educations that my business applies to meet the needs of my customers are just overwhelming in joy, just meeting them, hearing their stories, and being
just think
there.
of the lives that you are
saving,
impacting.
yes,
you
and
know,
saving from
your slogan is what? Is it? I read hands.
Train hands, save lives.
Save lives. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That says it all right there. That's really got to be fulfilling to know that you're contributing something that is helping not just one person but someone else's life. Because training one person can lead to saving 10 other people's lives.
Yes.
You know, I don't know how many times I've sat in a restaurant and saw someone choking.
Yes.
And everyone crowding around and not knowing what to do, and being able to give that advice or to watch someone else, a nurse or another professional that was in that arena, come and say, hey, you know, I got this.
Right.
So that when you train a community, you really are touching many people.
Yes.
Yeah. So how would someone get in touch with you if they were interested in learning how to do CPR? Because I know, as you mentioned, you serve individuals and you do classes. So how would someone get in touch with you?
Well, Wanda, they can find me at Center for Health Educators and Safety Specialists. The phone number is 410-834-1528 or info@trainedhandsavelives.com.
Okay. And so the last thing that I really would like for you to do is, if someone was coming to you and they said, I am interested in getting my certifications, what is the best advice that you would give to them and help them get started so that they can be just as successful as you are?
I would tell them to take a CPR instructor course. First, I find out what they're really trying to do. Are you trying to be in the business part of it, or are you just trying to make a little extra cash? Because you don't have to go through so many classes if you're just trying to make a little bit of extra cash versus establishing your own business. But first and foremost, you would need to become a CPR instructor and get trained under an agency. And there are 3 agencies that are nationally accredited, which is the American Heart Association, the American Red Cross, and the American Safety and Health Institute, which is one of the organizations I am certified under.
Now, I know in various areas in the state of Maryland that they have, actually the Department of Labor has declared several MOSs, job descriptions that individuals come out of the military with. If they have that particular training, they can get their certifications right off the beginning of exiting. Is this one?
Well, yes. CPR is only required every 2 years, so it does expire. So you will have to renew your CPR card every 2 years. You can get employed to an organization with a card that will expire within 60 days, but most of the time you would need to get it redone within your 2-year time frame. Other certifications, once again, depending on what courses you're taking, has 1 year or maybe 5-year certification expiration.
Okay. So if you had a book that you would recommend to them to read, or what would be their first class other than CPR to take in order to move forward?
Just confidence, because in order to actually perform CPR correctly, you need to have confidence and self-esteem, and building your self-esteem up. Because if I see you choking, and that person's life is in your hands because you are certified, and most people don't perform CPR on people that are in distress because they feel that they won't do it correctly. But it's the Good Samaritan law that covers lay personnel, of performing CPR. So building your confidence up is one of the big tips I would promote.
Wow, wow. Well, that's, all that we have for now, Vicki, and we definitely appreciate you coming out, and I know that someone has been impacted by your educating them, and I really, really do appreciate it. So I'm going to say that's it for now, and if you are interested in getting in touch with her, you can go online. This is Sister Soldier, your job creator, career strategist, and you're watching She Vet Inspires, the show where we provide the blueprints for your success. Until next time, peace.